And I'm back with Final Fantasy XIV Online. We are jumping into the main story quest for Shadowbringers. This will be the level 71 for 5.0. Thanks for joining.
And so you return. Have you gained a better understanding of the crisis now faced by the First?
Better is not the word I would use. Some lands may have been spared the flood, but the survivors live only to suffer. There seems no end to the horrors inflicted by the Sin Eaters.
Indeed. Those abominations are a calamity in their own right. And I can well imagine how hopeless the task of eradicating them must seem to you. But after countless battles and untold sacrifice, we have identified a potential weakness. Sin Eaters are drawn to serve the strongest of their kind, a class of creature we call Light Wardens. And from what we have been able to ascertain, only a handful of these entities exist. Just as an ant colony will perish in the absence of its queen, we believe that the death of a Light Warden will cause the lesser creatures within its sphere of influence to disperse.
I have a feeling Yulmur might have something to say about any concerted action we take against these monsters. Vorthra's command over the Sin Eaters is integral to Yulmuran society. In seeming to guarantee his people's safety, it guarantees their obedience. He will not take kindly to us depriving him of such useful allies.
Agreed. Thus we will need to occupy or otherwise divert his forces whilst we proceed with the business of eliminating the Wardens. Until we have done so, all other considerations must be set aside if we are to forestall the Eighth Umbral Calamity. Your uncertainty is understandable, given the circumstances. Perhaps a more detailed explanation is in order. To begin... In the ancient past, a single star was divided into 14 worlds. This is the source, your home. These others are the 13 shards, in whose number we find the first. Though physically separate, they retain a connection to each other, and with the source especially. Now, let us assume that a given element in one of the shards attains abnormal ascendancy. Just as water will flow from the highest point to the lowest, the excess energy will begin trickling into the source. And such an influx of ether will of course exert a palpable influence. If the element in question were fire, then drought and wildfires might ensue. If it were ice, one might expect the weather to turn bitterly cold. As ether continues to pour in, such phenomena will become more and more extreme, until eventually, a single, untimely event triggers a disaster which cracks the barrier dividing the two worlds. What was once a trickle now becomes a deluge, sweeping the shard along to be rejoined with the source. At the same time, the element which held sway in the shard is unleashed in full, its energies amplifying the original disaster to truly catastrophic proportions. An earthquake thus magnified might strike with enough force to shatter continents. A tidal wave might swell to a size capable of drowning entire nations. These devastating events are what we refer to as umbral calamities. 7 times has a calamity befallen the source. 7 times has a shard been absorbed. At present, the light-drowned realm of the First stands perilously close to meeting the conditions for a rejoining. It is the Sin Eaters who are to blame for the Light's continued dominance. In addition to attracting their lesser kin, the Light Wardens I mentioned earlier radiate ether, saturating every corner of their territory with light. Even here in the flood-spared region of Norvrant, their influence is strong enough to banish night from the sky. Thus, if we are to restore balance to the First and head off a potential calamity, it is imperative that we put each and every Light Warden to the sword.
We've been doing our best to take the fight to the enemy ever since we first heard the Exarch's explanation.
Though we have yet to claim any meaningful victories if truth be told. Apart from being confoundingly elusive, the Light Wardens possess a troublesome quality which compelled us to delay our plans until such time as you arrived.
Forgive the interruption, my lord, but Holminster Switch is requesting reinforcements. They say the Sin Eaters are attacking in force, and the village could soon be overrun.
Alert the guard. We should be prepared in case the fighting reaches the Crysterium. You have command of our forces in the field, Captain, but hold off on entering the town until I arrive. That goes for Alphino and Alize as well.
My lord.
Pray, lend us your strength. Such a fight will provide you with far greater insight than any explanation I could offer.
Holminster Switch is in the north of Lakeland, so we had best make haste with our preparations. In fact, meet me outside the Crysterium at the crossroads northwest of the Extensa Gate, and I shall lead you there myself. All set. If we follow this road north, we will arrive at the northern staging point. The village itself lies not far beyond. Quickly, now! Holminster Switch is past these gates and through the woods. 'Tis not exactly a near neighbor to the Crysterium, but as we occupy the same region, we have built up something of a cooperative relationship. What can we expect inside, Captain?
The town is beset by a swarm unlike any we have seen in recent years. We did our best to evacuate the villagers, but as many as half remain. Judging by the number of eaters present, we have good reason to believe that a Light Warden leads the attack.
How convenient. It seems we'll have our chance to slay a warden sooner than we expected.
One does not simply slay a warden. Has no one told you what happens if you defeat one of those fiends? They hold more light inside them than all of their underlings put together. It can be struck down, aye, but its essence won't dissipate like the weaker kind. Vile ether will billow outwards and envelop the nearest living being, a reckless young swordswoman, perhaps, and turn her into a brand new warden.
Ah, well, you can leave that particular quandary to us. I must ask that the guards stand down and allow us to engage this leader of eaters alone. Concentrate on the survivors. We must save every life we can.
But what if Dash? Understood, my lord. As captain of the guard, however, I will not watch you brave such danger without an escort from our ranks. I insist that I go with you.
Very well. Then our warden slaying party shall include myself, the Leveilleurs, Captain Lena, and last but not least, a formidable group indeed. Into Holminster we go. Once we reach the Light Warden, do not hold back, we strike to kill.
The instance dungeons encountered in subsequent main scenario quests can be completed solo, alongside a supporting party of NPCs. To make use of this feature, simply speak with one of your NPC companions near the entrance to the instance, and select the option to form a party. Alternately, you can also select duty support under duty from the main menu, or interact with the instance in trance itself. When forming a party, you will need to follow the same role restrictions imposed when using the duty finder. Alternatively, you can find party members via the duty finder as usual, and complete the instance with fellow players instead.
Alright, so when this first came out, I did this as the group, and it was like 35 minutes to run through the dungeon. It's a 15-minute dungeon at most right now. But if we did go in, this is where you can start leveling up your main role companions, right? So we had Alphinaud as a healer, all-around deep tank, can go red mage, and if we switch to the tank, we get the captain's guard, right, as a dancer. So I'm gonna try to go in as Reaper, get the experience, but if not, then I'll go in as Dark Knight. See you when I get in. Alright, I went ahead and changed data centers, and I'm on Goblin Crystal. We're at 7-minute wait for DPS. I was up to 20 minutes on the other one, and I had an issue where I didn't have the whole right side done, so now I'm at 400 item level. Now I can get in. Alright, see you when I get in.
Gra.
It's releasing its ether! Fall back! We cannot let it touch us! Quickly, my lord, we must withdraw!
That will not be necessary, Captain. Though I appreciate your concern. The eternal light of these creatures has confounded us for nigh on 100 years. For each we have put down, another has risen up in its place, born of the self-same ether relinquished by its predecessor. But now we have a way to contain that corruption. The blessing of light, and the hero who wields it now stands before you. Behold! The monster's power is broken, and the world, twisted by its touch, returns to its rightful form.
It can't be.
What's happening?
It's so beautiful.
The sunless sea. The warrior of darkness has come.
Is that what I think it is?
The night sky. As it should be.
Who are you people? You killed a warden, then bathed in its ether as if it were a spring shower, and now the sky? The legends are true. My lord?
How many years have I waited for this moment? For the one possessed of her blessing. For you. You have vanquished the Light Warden of Lakeland, and for the first time in a century, darkness has returned to the mantle of night. Without the ever-present light to sustain them, the Sin Eaters will have no choice but to retreat. Yet our victory is far from complete. Though darkness has fallen here, The other wardens yet bask beneath burning skies, feasting upon what little life remains. Even should it cost me all I have, I would see each and every one of them slain, that this world might be spared from oblivion. Not only for the first, but for the source as well. Save one, and we save the other. But, be that as it may, I concede it was wrong of me to summon you to this fight against your will. I swear, on my life, I will one day atone for that deed, but for the present, I beg you stay and see this fight to its conclusion. Cast down the Wardens, and restore darkness to the first. On behalf of the First, I offer you my deepest thanks.
I understand there is much at stake here, Exarch, but why do you risk yourself so readily? It must have been a dangerous drain on your ether to summon even one person across the rift.
I do it for my people, of course. To give the Crysterium the tomorrow it deserves.
That is true now, yes, but the city had yet to be built when you first called forth the Crystal Tower. I'm simply curious to know what prompted you to commit yourself so completely to this particular course.
There are things which we can ill afford to lose. And I sensed from the first that I had a part to play in preserving them. Forgive me. I fear the events of the day may have taken their toll. Despite appearances, I am an old man. One burdened with many difficult memories, some too painful to recall.
Well then, I'm sorry for pressing you. It's a family failing, I'm afraid.
One which has served us well more often than not. Needless to say, we will continue to fight at your side until the last Sin Eater is defeated.
Come then, my warriors of darkness. Let us gather the surviving villagers and make our way back to the Crysterium.
How quickly you have justified my faith in you. So many lives saved, and the sky itself heralds your success. A single victory in a larger struggle, perhaps, but a momentous one nonetheless. Now, as for how we proceed from here.
The villagers we evacuated earlier have arrived safely in the Crysterium. They seem to be accepting their situation for the moment. Most folk are far too distracted by the sky to worry about wounds or lost homes. They whisper and wonder if the warrior of darkness has come.
'Tis to be expected. Onion, I must ask a favor of you. Would you be so kind as to conceal your involvement in this endeavor for the time being? Seeing the light recede from Lakeland is a momentous occasion, and many will be swept up in a maelstrom of excitement and confusion. Should you come forth as the legendary warrior of darkness, I fear that, no matter how good your intentions, such an appearance would throw the city into disarray.
I find myself in agreement with the Exarch, although my concerns are more focused on Yulmore. It may be best if you maintain a low profile until we see how Vothri responds to all of this.
My thanks. Though we cannot freely celebrate your success, pray allow your heart to be buoyed by the joy of our citizens, a joy you surely brought into being. Ah, and I must ask the same discretion of you, Captain. 'Tis my intention to share with our people the tale of a great warrior who stood in defiance of the Sin Eaters. This unnamed champion defeated the Light Warden, and has since departed for parts unknown, yes.
As you wish, my lord. Your penchant for mystery is nothing new, and I will encourage folk not to question this either. Although I expect to be told the whole truth of it one day. About all of you.
With that settled, I shall return to the Crysterium and make an address to the people. These explanations and adjustments will consume much of my time, so pray take the opportunity to rest and recover from your exploits. And to think, you'll not even need to shutter the windows to enjoy a dark and peaceful night's sleep.
I must stay behind and coordinate the evacuation of the remaining survivors. And I hesitate to ask after all you've done here today, but could I ask you to pass on a message on your way to the pendants? Please let Bragi know that we're bringing in a number of injured, and that any restoratives in the markets need to be reserved for the infirmary.
We should start making our own way back to the Crysterium, slowly, mind you. It wouldn't do to arrive too soon after the Exarch.
I'm staying behind as well. There's something I need to check on in Holminster.
We already went through the village top to bottom, Alize. We should all take the chance to rest, you included.
I knew one of those eaters, and I can't rest, not now. So please, I wish to be left alone for a while. And that means you as well, Onion. I shall be cross if you try to follow me. I promise to find you later, when I feel myself again.
Just you and me, then. Shall we? Well, the Crysterium seems relatively ordered, wouldn't you say? The Exarch's speech must have been reassuring to hear. On the contrary, there is something jubilant in the air. I have a feeling this night won't be quite as peaceful as our hooded friend predicted. I think I shall take a brief stroll around town before retiring to my chambers. Once you've discharged your duty to Bragi, I suggest you do the same. Sleep well, Onion. I hope untroubled dreams find you and Alize both.
Hi, what can I do for you? Looking to buy a lantern, like every other stumbling soul in the city? I see. Well, Captain Lena can rest assured that any potions I spot coming in will be set aside for the wounded. Hang on a moment, if you're carrying messages for the guard, does that mean you were there, then? The battle at Holminster? A stalwart lass like you might want to pay a visit to the Wandering Stairs. Make herself known. I'm sure Glynnard can introduce you to some interesting opportunities. Sayela, more beer for table 2. And a couple of pints of mead for table 3, while you're at it.
Coming right up.
Sorry, we're rushed off our feet this evening, miss. Can I get you anything? Drinks are on the house. Oh, that Bragi has a twisted sense of humor. Gahahaha. To think he'd send you to me at a time like this. The first real night in near 100 years has folk all riled up and then some. What's more, there was that eater business at Holminster Switch. They say a Light Warden was destroyed without a damn trace, and it was the Warrior of Darkness who did the deed.
I really must apologize for Glynnard. He's been almost as rowdy as our customers, and that's no small feat. A lot of our regulars are bounty hunters, you see. They mostly go after eaters, and the rumor of the warrior's appearance was the spark to their kindling.
You know how the weak eaters are drawn to the strong ones, right? Aye, they swarm like angry bees around a queen. You need look no further than Holminster for proof of that. But attacks on that scale don't happen every day, praise the blessed shadow. No, the more common threats are the strays. No one knows why, but every now and again, an eater will leave the pack to prowl alone. Those are the ones you run into on the road if your luck is foul. They're a danger to everyone, so the settlement council puts bounties on their heads. And our bar here is a convenient place for hunters to gather and share information.
Seems a few of them were inspired by the Warden slaying even more than most. These are the types who have their sights set on the absolute worst of the strays, a class of eaters that have been dubbed the Cardinal virtues. The virtues showed up out of nowhere about 3 summers ago, and when historians heard the descriptions given by survivors, well, apparently they share an appearance with the villains who caused the flood. And if that doesn't send a chill down your spine, they're also reported to be as tough as Light Wardens, not the kind of prey you can take down single-handed. Our virtue hunters had all but given up, but knowing the warrior of darkness is out there has lit a fire in their bellies. Just look at them. That Hume over there with the oversized sword is Granson. He's in it for revenge. Wants to recruit a comrade in arms as tenacious as he is. The Mistal lad is Lou Riek. Don't be fooled by those dewy cheeks, he's as hard a hunter as they come. He just lost a partner, and seems to be on the lookout for a new one. That's Sirig. Word is he seeks an expert in magecraft to help fight the virtue he's after. Last we have Giot, dwarf and drunkard both. Wanted to join forces with a healer, and only a healer. Something about needing a mender's wisdom. I've seen my share of competent veterans, and you have that look about you. Maybe you should introduce yourself to one of our hunters. Who knows? Together you might even collect the bounty on a Cardinal virtue.
Now there's a grand idea. Imagine the prestige my bar would earn if we boasted the patronage of a successful virtue hunter.
You have gained access to role quests. A separate quest line and story is now available for tank, physical DPS, magical ranged DPS, and healer roles. In order to reach the final stages of the Shadowbringers main scenario, you must complete at least one role quest line. Speak with a virtue hunter at the Wandering Stairs to accept a quest offer.
Welcome back, miss. I wonder if anyone can sleep with the city in such an uproar, but will you be retiring to your quarters? Very good. In light, of the present situation, I have had illumination prepared for all our rooms. No need to rush to the markets for lanterns or candles. Have a pleasant rest, miss.
So it's your lot's turn to be the Warriors of Darkness, is it? It's funny how things work out. Well, I did warn you. I followed you to Yulmore and then on to Armarang, and I was there when you slew the Light Warden. Those white-haired twins who were with you. I remember them from our battle in the Source. Are they your friends then? Through thick and thin? Aye. Then I suggest you keep them close. It's when you charge ahead trying to save someone else that you end up losing those you love. Not that you need telling, I'll bet you've lost plenty. But I wonder, what will it cost you this time? I don't remember when it was that I learned regret wasn't worth the bother. You get numb to it all over the years. The lost comrades, the broken promises, the abandoned principles. Just more nagging burdens to ignore.
So this is what the light was hiding. She's here. I must go to her.
intruders! Fan out and find them!
Out of my way!
Stay your weapon. We are not your enemy. When the alarm sounded, I wondered what we had done to betray our presence. But I see now we are not the only intruders. Sir Estinien, I presume. The dragoon who plucked the Warrior of Light from the jaws of death? Your armor is most distinct.
Much as yours once was. But even without it, I see a former legator still has eyes and ears in unexpected places. Van Baelsar, in the flesh. Though I understand you prefer Shadowhunter.
You are in contact with the Scions, I take it.
Through no choice of my own. They tracked me down and conscripted me to their cause. I swear their receptionist was trained as a spy. Not that anyone can escape that Baldessian woman once she has caught the scent of your ether.
If they have resorted to using freelancers, I must assume their attempts to wake the afflicted have failed. And what of their champion?
Away on other business. Thus, it has fallen to me to root out any trace of the Empire's new weapon.
If it is Black Rose you seek, you are too late. My people have already completed your mission here. Yet this is but one factory among many. When they caught wind of our efforts, they built additional facilities to ensure production continues unabated. There will be no one left in the lands they conquer. No citizens to conscript. No skills to exploit. Nothing the Empire needs. And they will call it victory.
What exactly does this Black Rose do?
The gas is described as a poison, but its actual effect is more arcane in nature. It was created to disrupt the ether in living beings, to bring the flow of their life energies to a standstill. Inhaling even the tiniest amount will cause all bodily functions to cease, much as a potent venom will stop a man's heart. Released over a city, Black Rose could conceivably kill every inhabitant, and all without damaging a single structure.
Search every corner! Rouse the barracks if you have to! I want this facility secured!
I have more questions, but now is not the time.
Sir Estinien, I have an offer for you, but I will make it only once. Since it would seem we seek the same answers, you are welcome to join us.
Ha! From what I hear, you need all the help you can get. In case you don't know, Varys himself confessed that your empire was a creation of the Ascians.
I am aware of what his Radiance said at the parley. Thus I would return to the capital, that I might behold the truth of this corruption with my own eyes. My path leads to Garlemald.
Alright, that wraps up the 71 quest line. Now we move to 72 in the next one. Thanks for joining.